What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Hope you're having a great weekend here on a beautiful Sunday. I'm going to be potentially kicking off a new series on the channel, a 32-part series on the channel, where we predict for every single team, just predictions, just, shooting the shit in the down period between football season and Madden 20 starting. I always like doing these videos, but if you guys don't really want to see them again this year, I completely understand. I have content, but if not, sometimes these videos will come up as the singular upload. Other times, because they're not, super tough to make, they will be part of a double upload on the channel. For these rosters, I'm just using to preview these ratings. Shout out to Volvo, Cursive, and Patriot Fan for doing all of the legwork to get the rosters to where they were at. For example, we're starting with the Cardinals. We're going to go in draft order. I probably spent about maybe an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, just tinkering with the rosters and stuff, getting the right free agents on. But those guys, Volvo, Cursive, and Patriot Fan, did all the rest, all the hard stuff. That is what they did. They also, you probably might sound familiar from the Flashback franchise. Go check out that Discord and support the cause. So let's take a look here at the Arizona Cardinals. Let's go through some of the rankings. Let's see if we agree. I definitely like getting Cardinal fans or whatever fan of the team that I'm talking about to come in and try to say, yeah, C4, I agree with that rating, or no, I think that's a little too low, just so we have a good starting point, so that when we actually get the Madden 20 ratings, we can kind of all agree or disagree together. What we do know about the ratings there is we already talked about Kyler Murray when I was making my ratings prediction. I think he'll get an 80. But what we had from the EA Twitch stream is that the ratings this year are going to be really, really low. There's going to be a lot more 50 overalls, guys in the 60s, low 60s, stuff like that. I didn't really compensate that in these rosters, but just be aware if you ever try to use this video to compare to the official ratings that we kind of know that going in, but I just have no idea to guess. So this is more so guessing the starters, what their ratings are roughly going to be. And we'll start with Kyler Murray. Like I said, we have an 80. I think he'll be an 80 star dev, somewhere in that territory. From a mobility standpoint, he's going to be incredibly overpowered, very, very fun to use. I don't think he's going to get better stats than Lamar Jackson. Like, I don't think right now you could pay me and say Kyler Murray could beat Lamar Jackson in a foot race, but it'd be pretty close. So with Kyler Murray, obviously with the ball in his hands, he's very dangerous. We're going to give him really good arm talent, 92 throw power. All of his accuracies are fairly strong. Break sack might not be his best trait because he's very, very nimble. He's going to be probably sub 200 pounds if he starts week 1 for the Arizona Cardinals. But he's super overpowered, man. He in real life, he's pretty much overpowered. The only knocks against him was his size for durability concerns and the whole baseball thing. If not, he has every opportunity throughout his career to establish himself as the next Russell Wilson. And I was a little bit upset. No, not upset. That's way too much to even put into the stock. I was a little bit annoyed with how he handled the offseason, but now that's all, the dust is settled. I'm very excited to see what Kyler Murray can do in the National Football League. Looking at the running backs, we got David Johnson. I'm going to give him an 89 overall. I think he should be fringe 90, even though he had a down year, even though he's coming off an injury 2 years ago. He still is the prototypical NFL running back. 6'1", 225 pounds, can catch like a wide receiver, can run between the tackles like a power back. He has speed. He has breakaway speed. I mean, he's a complete running back. He just, as a David Johnson fantasy football owner last year, the play calling for Mike McCoy was garbage. There's just so many times that he was being underutilized and there were stupid play calls. They weren't giving him the ball. It was so frustrating to watch. And I think with Cliff Kingsbury there now and Kyler Murray in the backfield, I think there's going to be a nice little season of resurrection for Mr. David Johnson. And I think he should reestablish himself to others, because for me, he's never left as a top 5 running back, and we'll give him that 89. Maybe a quick, but I feel like he probably should still pull an 89 star dev. And then Edmonds and Logan here rounding out the depth chart. We got Coleman at fullback, 63. Now, wide receiver, we got Larry Fitzgerald. We'll give him an 85. Larry Legend. I feel like that's just, he should never get lower than 85. You look at the stats last year, down a little bit, but I don't think that's one of those things where he's like plateauing because he's so old. It was just much more so the Cardinals' offense was abysmal. So I think he'll get an 85, and it'll be nice to see him become that safety net for Kyler Murray as a rookie. We got Christian Kirk. We'll give him, if Larry's, they tend to give old players that are really good still really good depth traits. So, I mean, there's a chance. I don't know what Larry was this year. I'll probably say 85 star. I don't know if Larry had a superstar this year, probably would carry that over next year, but I think he's probably 85 star. So moving to Christian Kirk, who's a surprise slip out of the first round last year. He had a nice little year. I mean, no one had really big numbers for Arizona, so you got to kind of take that with a grain of salt, the box scores. But I think going forward, Christian Kirk's a really nice weapon out of the slot for the Arizona Cardinals. In real life, I don't necessarily know how they're going to use that because of another wide receiver we're going to talk about. But in Madden, he's really good with the ball in his hands because of his special teams ability. I think he's a great slot wide receiver. And then in real life, when Larry Fitzgerald moves on, I think he definitely can establish himself as maybe an outside 1,000-yard wide receiver. Now, for slots in real life, they probably will take a look at Andy Isabella there, the rookie second-round pick at a UMass. But from Madden standpoint, he's an incredibly overpowered player. You're going to have 95-plus speed. I gave him 96 speed, 96 acceleration. Has great short route running, has slot traits. But I think for Madden, you probably want Larry in the slot because he's a little bit slower, and then you're just going to cheese Andy Isabella on the outside. But I think, yeah, he'll probably get 74 quick. And then you also get another wide receiver that he drafted. They doubled up with Hakeem Butler out of Iowa State. I personally, because I've been hyping up Hakeem Butler all college season, I'd give him 73 quick at 6'5", 227 with 91 speed. You're going to have 90 acceleration. His jump ball ability is very good. 88 catch in traffic, 86 spec catch. So if like the user aggressive catch is back this year, I mean, we don't really know anything about gameplay. Hakeem Butler is definitely going to be one of the most overpowered rookies in the game. But pairing that with Isabella, very fun team with Arizona with Kyler Murray throwing on the ball. They got more speed here. You got Kevin White. You got Demary Bird, 96 speed. Pretty cheesy roster, to be completely honest with you. Moving to the tight ends, you got Charles Clay coming over as a veteran from the Buffalo Bills. We'll give him a 78. And from a Madden standpoint, I probably will always recommend moving Charles Clay to fullback. They got Max Williams on a flyer from the Ravens. I actually really like Max Williams in college. He was like a really good highlight reel from Minnesota. Maybe just change the scenery is what he needed to move on from Baltimore. So that's something to keep an eye on. They got Ricky Seals-Jones, a converted wide receiver. He's a nice little weapon. I got Mr. Irrelevant Caleb Wilson there. So, ultimately they're probably not going to have the answer from a Madden standpoint on tight end on the roster, but there's some usable guys. Look at the offensive line. It's still a below average offensive line. They didn't really address it a whole lot. We get DJ Humphries here, probably 76 normal. Left guard, you got J.R. Sweezy, more of a journeyman at this point. Didn't have a great year according to PFF. At center, you get A.Q. Shipley. I did like the pick of Lamont Gaillard from Georgia. I did a little bit of tape on him because I had him mocked by Philadelphia Eagles. Would not be surprised if either him or Mason Cole emerges as the starter next year for the Arizona Cardinals. And I might hedge my bets here on Gaillard, fitting that Cliff Kingsbury style. Right guard, you got Justin Pugh, the former New York Giant, 77. He's just, at this point, an average offensive lineman. Right tackle, you got Marcus Gilbert, who they made the trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Give him 82. I mean, when he is healthy, he is a very good right tackle. Gator made, baby. So we'll give him the rating of the highest Arizona Cardinal offensive lineman. Moving to the defensive side. So they're switching to a 3-4. So you can see some different personnel. They got Phylon here. Give him a 75. Had a decent year. I think he had 4.5 sacks last season with the Chargers. We'll go with that. Zach Allen, too. They got him in Boston College a little bit late. I mean, he was a guy at the beginning of the college football season, had first-round buzz, and then he just kind of got a little bit exposed as a limited athlete. But he's a nice little weapon here, nice little flyer for the Arizona Cardinals that could develop into something. At the other defensive end spot, they got Robert Kimdichie, who they reportedly didn't pick up his fifth-year option, which I thought was kind of surprising because it seemed like last year he was starting to stay healthy just a little bit more and getting some end production. And maybe was the gamble that he actually might have been better suited as a 3-4 end than a 4-3D tackle, that he has a breakout season or something like that this year. So we give him a 78. They got Dogby here from Temple. I talked about him a little bit for my draft sleepers. He'll be a nice little user player to use in your Madden games. The tackle, I'm not exactly sure who they're going to keep at nose tackle because both Corey Peters and Gunter aren't really your prototypical 3-4 nose, but if I had to guess, it'll be Corey Peters. He's solid. At this point, he's a 78. You got Gunter, who's a 77. Not a lot of natural nose tackles here outside of Vincent Valentine. Moving to the linebacking core, they got T. Sizzle coming from the Baltimore Ravens. Still a veteran, still going to be a fun player to use. We'll give him an 82, even though he's 36. In real life, I assume we'll probably rotate heavily with Brooks Reed, who's coming over from the Atlanta Falcons via free agency. He's more just a solid depth player as a 78. Moving to the inside, they brought Jordan Hicks from my Philadelphia Eagles. And I was a little bit annoyed, but when I saw the money that Arizona gave him, that's a big-time risk for a player that can't stay healthy. But when he does stay healthy, he's a very intriguing player. We call him the Cowboy Killer. Because I think he's in his lifetime, he's injured or knocked out 2 or 3 Dallas Cowboy quarterbacks out of the game. Tony Romo for sure, where he broke his collarbone. And the last full season that Jordan Hicks did play, he was like the second best linebacker in coverage, only behind Luke Kuechly from Pro Football Focus. He's really good in coverage. He has some pretty good tackling abilities. Good leader. And even though his Super Bowl season got cut short, he still was a part of that team. So I'll always be a big fan of Jordan Hicks. I wish him well in Arizona, but that contract for how injury prone he is, a little bit worrisome. We got Hassan Riddick here. I just moved an inside linebacker. You can give him a 76. He'll probably have a 76 quick dev or something like that. But an interesting note is he played a little bit of defensive end at Temple, so they might just be more inclined to keep him as a rotational player at the outside. But I just more so look at the depth chart. They're going to have 2 middle linebackers. I'd say it's going to be Hassan Riddick as Jordan Hicks' partner. Right outside linebacker, you got Chandler Jones, who's going to be one of the more consistent edge rushers in the National Football League. He's played a little bit outside linebacker, standing up for the New England Patriots. So I don't think this is going to be that hard of a transition for him. Still going to give him an 88. That could be the first debatable ranking, I think. I would not be pissed to give him to the 90s. I think he's really, really underrated, which is kind of weird saying because he's always like top 5 in sacks and TFLs in the league. But I feel like 88 with the scheme change is a fair grade for Chandler Jones. But definitely let me know in the comments if you agree with that rating, that prediction. Moving to the secondary, we got Pat Pete. I'll give him a 90. I feel like that's just a safe spot for a guy that doesn't have a whole lot of stats, whether it be teams don't throw to him or not. He's definitely a lockdown corner. If you could make a cornerback in like a science lab, you're probably going to end up with a Patrick Peterson as your final product. So he's still really, really good. I feel like 90 at this point in his career is a fair grade. They got Alfred coming over from the Falcons. He's a 79. You get some veterans here. Byron Murphy was the first pick to kick off the second round. I actually gave him a 75, which is higher than some of the first-round picks, which we have seen in Madden games. Some really good players that slip in the second round will get higher grades than maybe some of the reaches in the first round. I think Byron Murphy is going to be a prime candidate for that. I thought him and Greedy Williams should have absolutely been first-round picks, and I'll give him a 75. He'll probably get a 75 quick, and in real life, I wouldn't be surprised if he emerges as the other starter on the other side of the field from Patrick Peterson. Moving to the safety spots, we got Budda Baker. I'll give him an 80. 80 quick, somewhere in that territory. He's a really good player. He plays like he's 6'3", 210 pounds, so I love watching him play. And hopefully he can stay healthy and have a nice bounce-back year. They got Deontay Thompson, who kind of like Zach Allen, had some first-round buzz and then kind of tanked the second half of the season for the Crimson Tide and then didn't really do much in the offseason workout. So, he's an interesting player. Wouldn't be, he could give you that third safety on their defense. Strong safety, got DJ Swearinger. We'll give him an 83. Pretty good big-time hitter, old-school type safety that can have some coverage ability. A little bit of a surprise release mid-season last year from the Washington Redskins. Maybe some off-the-field locker room stuff, but he's a good starter for the Cardinals. We'll give him an 83. Graded up well from Pro Football Focus and had some pretty big stats last season. Special teams, we got Zane Gonzalez as a kicker, one of the better kickers in college football history. Got surprisingly cut from the Cleveland Browns, I think, last year. So we'll give him a 74. And then punter, you have the veteran in Andy Lee with a 79. So there you go, guys. Those are my predictions for the Arizona Cardinals ratings in Madden 20. If you agree or disagree with some of these little projections, let me know in the comment section below. Let's have a little bit of debate so then we officially get these ratings. We can see who really knows better about Madden, who really knows better about player evaluation, C4 or you guys. So let me know if you guys want to see this for the remaining 31 teams throughout the next month or so, 2 months, we'll say. Okay, come on. We got to do daily uploads. It helps with the daily uploads. And it's always a very fun football conversation. So let me know. As always, if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Check out the Discord if you want to get your hands on these rosters. Unfortunately, they're for PC only. So if you want these on console, you're probably just going to have to, see what I gave them for an overall and try to copy that over. And that does for me today, guys. Thank you for watching. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.